We're in the backyard of Stan Lawrenson. Now, Stan is 96, as you can see, not out. Birthday coming up, Stan?
Yeah, 1910-17, October. 1910, oh yeah, look, yeah.
So 1917, that was World War I, was not yet over when you were born.
Correct, yes. What do you want me to say, that?
Yeah, just the truth, Stan, just the truth.
Yeah.
Now, there's an interesting story behind your orange tree. Would you like to tell us how that orange tree came to be here?
How that orange tree came to be here, we had a American naval orange that we used to get at Christmas time, and there were not many come, and we were able to get some.
Mm-hmm.
And after a couple of years of getting them, my wife put a seed into, you can add on to this, into a flower pot inside, and it grew, and in the meantime she passed away. Well, before it actually came up, she passed away. Then it grew, and my daughters said, why don't we plant it in memory of Mum? And it took a while to grow, and then it started to fruit, and it's grown bigger and bigger, and now it's just about had its time, but there's still oranges on it. and people come and pick them, take them away. They just fall on the ground if I've got anything to do with them, and I don't worry about them in there. And people have had them and taken them to get the pips out of them and to put into their paddocks that they bought. Some of what get the fruit in there, the trees in, before they actually shift in, so they got fruit when they get there.
So this navel orange tree that arrived as an orange from the United States is seeding gardens all over Manawatu?
No, just a couple of places have got them. And lady, you got some fruit, didn't you? Was planting the seed?
Got something. Yeah, there's a lady who's collecting the seed from this year's fruit.
Yeah, the lady collects the seed from the fruit and plants. What do they call it? Germinates them, isn't it?
I guess so. So this tree is still producing children.
Eh?
Yeah. Well, and so you've donated the tree so the fruit can be given away.
Given away, yeah. It doesn't worry me who gets them as long as it's going to some cause.
Let me introduce you to Mads Bakker-El. Is that right?
Bakker-El.
But I've got
close,
to.
You know,
It's
not
close.
many people get that right.
The
so
stress.
that's all right.
So say it for me again.
Mads Bakker-El.
Right. Now you have set up Manawatu Community Fruit Harvest.
Yeah, that's right. And with the help of Diane up in Auckland. She's running a similar organisation up in Auckland. She's been going for a couple of years, and a year ago she put a press release out around the country asking for coordinators to do the same thing because it was working really well and it's such a great idea. And I was like, oh, that's a cool idea. I've always looked at fruit trees in backyards and gone, oh, look at them laden with fruit and nobody's picking them and nobody's eating them, and we could share that around or use it or whatever. So, and like every tree has so much fruit that it's too much for one family often, you know, once they're established. So it just goes, you know, it's just brainy to be sharing it around.
So now's the time of year in Manawatu for citrus fruit, and it's all coming on stream, isn't it? So we've got this wonderful old orange tree here.
Yep, we have. Now this is Mr. Lawrenson's orange tree, and he his wife planted it not long before she passed away, from a seed. He's told me that she planted it from a seed that that she found in an orange that they had eaten. They'd bought from the greengrocer or wherever you buy fruit from that long ago. And there was a seed in it, and she popped it in her pot plant, and it grew into a little seedling. And then not long after that she passed away, and her family thought, her children thought, and he thought, well, we'll put that in the ground and we'll grow it, and we can remember Mum by that tree. And here it is, like that. What a memory to have that. And so they've all eaten fruit from that tree that she planted, and it's awesome. Now, and we had that story in the newspaper, a little snippet of that story in the newspaper last year or earlier in the year, and I had another lady contact me from just Fitzherbert East Road near the gorge, and she wants to collect a seed from this tree and plant it in her garden. And she lives on another really old property that's got a 100-year-old garden and 100-year-old trees, and she wants to keep adding to those trees. So the story will go on, and this tree will carry on even further. So it's lovely. It's a lovely story, and it's nice to have that heritage carrying through. We take fruit. We offered fruit by owners who either can't pick it or use it themselves, and I organise volunteers usually to come in and pick the fruit, and we deliver it to places like Manchester House and Just Zilch and Palmerston North and refugee services. And schools, even like North Street School has received fruit from us, and that's the basic premise of it, is taking fruit that we have in our communities and feeding our communities with it.
And you've brought along a whole lot of implements of fruit harvest, all sort of very makeshift.
Very makeshift, yeah. We have a sort of a no budget organisation at the moment, so we've brought our own ladders and things, which are pretty flash. But other than that, we've got a rake which we pull. I can show you that if you like. Pull the fruit down, and we have a special tub on the end of a stick which we can rattle the apples out of the tree that don't work so well for oranges. We've discovered they're a bit firmer, and yeah, a couple of old crates and buckets to collect the fruit in.
Now, if someone wants to donate a tree with fruit on it, or even get involved as a volunteer, how do they do that?
They can contact me at my home number 323-3320, or we're on Facebook. You can Facebook or Google Community Fruit Harvest. You'll find us. So.
Now, you've had an interesting and varied career, I understand. You were a truck driver, and you used to boil water on the Paikokariki Hill. What was all that about?
All about that. They had a tank up there, and when you got halfway up, you had to stop and fill your truck up with water because the trucks were boiling. The radiator used to heat up, and you had to stop there and fill it up with water.
Well, they don't make trucks like that anymore, do they?
Not anymore, no.
So why though did you go up the Paikokariki Hill? It's a steep and bendy hill.
It was the only way to get to Wellington not
Pororua?
Hutt Valley, yeah. Yes. Pororua and Pororua. What's the name of that place in there?
Parramatta Harbour.
Parramatta Harbour. Yeah.
Right.
You got down there, and if the tide was in, you had to go through the water to get onto the road. So you were still on the road, but it used to be covered with water where the tide was in.
Goodness.
Parramatta. Yeah. Used to come over there, and it'd be blocked, Well, you could get through, but the tide was there, and there'd be a foot of water on it. Yeah.
So the coast road that everyone didn't exist then.
No, not. And only from Paicock. Yeah, you had to go over the hill because the main road wasn't put in till the war. Nicky Savage built the road round there in the water years.
Because I remember when they last year when they had the Model T Ford run. It was the first car to go from Wellington to Auckland, and it was a Model T Ford.
Yeah.
And they recreated the route as much as possible, and they said yes. Back then, they had to go over the Pyecock Hill because the coast road just didn't exist. So it didn't exist until World War II.
No, World War II, the coast road was put up.
So as a truck driver, what difference did that coast road make to you?
Oh, it didn't make much difference there. We were high up in the trucks, you know. And we could get through all right. Everybody got through, really, in there.
It's just that you didn't boil the radiator anymore.
Oh, no, it was only Pyecock here in there. Not all trucks did it, but some had to stop there and put the water in here, in the radiator. And that coast road was built, and going through Foxton, the Foxton Bridge wasn't there then. That was built after the war. What's the name? We used to go through, and the tide was in, and sometimes we'd push a car out with a truck because they'd be stuck in the water till they got on the main road again.
So State Highway 1 didn't have that bridge.
No.
Oh goodness. We don't know we're alive.
That bridge was put up after the war. Oh, you've got me.
Oh, memories are made of this.
But that was the main highway, which is now, was put up after the war, and you had to go around the river there. But when the tide was in, you got caught up.
So did you drive on the beach at all?
No, not on the beach. It was on the main road.
okay.
Yeah, on the main road that used to flood.
Going back in time like that is quite interesting because people take so much for granted these days.
Oh yes, yeah. No, the old times there, you'd be coming up in the dark and what's the name, and you have to stop for cows on the road at Foxton. Wandering cows, you know, got out of the paddocks. And you come back from Wellington with a load of petrol on in 4-gallon tins from Lower Hutt and Upper Hutt. And there used to be a petrol dispenser down there with tanks, and they used to load up 2 4-gallon tins of petrol into cases, and we'd bring back 200 cases, 150 cases of petrol, and we'd stop at Paraparaumu or Waikanae, open the case, dip the petrol in the truck, chuck the tins over the fence and go home. That's where you have to put it in because there wasn't petrol stations in, you know.
I'm glad you wore your best hat.